Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode of Now Loading. And starting things off, I'd like to offer my apologies for the outage in service for the channel this last month. I had a number of things going on in November. Chief among these were some graduate school obligations. I'm cutting a long story short, I'm getting closer to the end of that journey, and I'm working on the final bits, getting all that in place. And as a matter of fact, this last weekend got news that some of the major milestones have gone through, so I'm looking forward to kind of putting that on the fast track to completion in the coming months. It's been a long journey. I am really looking forward to being well and truly on my way in life, having more free time at home, more time to game, more time to talk with all of you. Anyway, things will change in the coming months. I can guarantee you that. How that's going to affect my time, I don't know. Please stay tuned for that stuff coming on future episodes of this vlog, if you're interested, or just pay attention to my social media channels. Links are down in the description box down below. Other stuff that happened that has been somewhat busy. Convention planning goodness. I mentioned this in my last episode of Now Loading, and it's something I do fairly often. For those interested, it is actually an anime convention. Ha 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 ha. I know. Nerd! Just flashed through most of your heads. Yeah, I know. That's a thing. No, surprise, surprise, for those of you who are joining me in America, family. November is kind of a big month for that. Thanksgiving is one thing. I can tell you all kinds of wonderful... let me be more eloquent. I can regale you with all kinds of wonderful stories that, quite frankly, wouldn't interest half my audience. Cutting it down to its bare essence, I got to see a bunch of family I haven't seen in a couple years. Lots of conversations, lots of food. Good stuff. Good stuff. A funny thing about that is, after all of my years of dealing with my aunts, you'd think that I would have learned. And the things you would think I would have learned is that the things I tell them will never be the things that end up coming back to me through the rumor grapevine, as we call it, via my uncles. And at least wonderful misunderstandings. One would think that would be... I would have learned that. Well, apparently I've not learned it enough, or I was so overcome with the emotions of I got to see these members of my family again that I may have been a little looser with my lips than I thought, and, well, I guess the rumor ship really did sink. Whoops. There were some other things going on here this last month. I could best describe it as an emotional roller coaster. I mean, there was all of this happy stuff going on, get to see family, these graduate school milestones that I've just talked about. In addition, my wife's birthday was this month. That was a really sweet occasion. Really nice dinner. Good stuff. All of this was punctuated with the unfortunate news sometime in the middle of the month that a close personal friend of mine had passed away from my undergraduate studying years. And I guess it really does make this one a November to remember. And I don't mean that in like the V for Vendetta sense, remember the 5th of November. I will remember the weekend after that, however, quite strongly. I am very pleased to note that while I was busy tending to other things during that time, that I was able to make his funeral, and I will say it was a very beautiful day in San Francisco. The skies were so blue. I was actually surprised the traffic was as light as it was going into the city. Crossing the wonderful several-mile expanse of the Hayward San Mateo Bridge. I was also pleasantly surprised that I got to see a bunch of old friends that day. It was really nice to see them all. I really wish, and I told them as much to say when I shook their hands that day, was that I wish I'd gotten to see them once again and under happier circumstances. And with that, we go from one holiday month to another, and that was punctuated by the wonderful deals of Cyber Weekend. Feels weird calling it that, you know? Such a weird thing to say. It's like listening to the news. It's like they're treating it like some kind of holiday? Cyber Weekend, I mean? Which is weird because for a while they were talking about like a Black Friday for a couple years when, I don't know about you, but at least for my fellow Americans, it's a good number of us still value, the Thursday before all of this hullabaloo. Well, not to be outdone, retailers this year decided to start offering Black Friday in October. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. Like, part of me is like, yeah, this is the price it should be all year round, fools. You fools. Oh, by the way, before I forget, this particular gameplay, and I will surround the word gameplay in air quotes and hand quotes and whatever you want to call them, that's playing in the background isn't really gameplay per se. It's just a pleasant flight in DCS World. By the way, that I have the Steam version of that. Touching on things. Yes, I do read the comment section. Occasionally some of them disappear, some of them don't come up. I would, please, and I'm going to make this note right now, please, if you want me to read them, set them to public. I will sometimes see notifications that there's a comment on there, and I can't really read it. Kind of embarrassing on that one, but it does happen. If you want me to read them, please set your things to public, and I will be sure to read them. First item based on those comments of the last vlog episode. There appears to have been some miscommunication in the last episode, or I was overly vague or collapsed a couple of ideas together. I do want to keep the now loading part in the title because it conjures this feeling of like we're having a conversation while waiting for a game to start, like whether or not we're like in a Discord or a TeamSpeak server or in a lobby before a raid starts or something like that. That being said, you've probably already noticed in the title of this video, I have modified it based on the feedback I got last video. Thumbs up to those of you who pointed that out. That will be carrying forward right now. Okay, I know that I'm about to make a lot of people cringe. For those of you that do not know and did not get the hint that I am a massive fan of Japanese cartoons. Come on, I just said earlier in the video that I volunteer for an anime convention. What should have been the clue, right? In the last episode, I talked about watching some good anime in recent memory. In the comments, there was some interest in the titles that I would recommend watching. I'm going to stick to the ones from this particular season, that is the fall 2017 season, for this discussion. And I mean, let's face it, there are too many to recommend in one go, and I don't want to keep you guys here for hours of just listing things off and, kind of giving you some reasons why I would recommend some things for watching and where you might want to think about watching them. The first of them is The Ancient Magus's Bride. If you're looking at this from the Japanese perspective, it should come off as Mahotsukai no Oyome. And I'm going to just say this. The animation is exceptionally beautiful on this project by any standard. Oh my word. This is coupled with a very interesting story, a very good sense of pacing to that story. This one is really worth your time. I say don't hesitate to give this one a spin. I know that some people are going to be a little hesitant because of the sheer amount of hype that this show has received. Please, just watch this. Yeah, please, don't hesitate. Unless you're watching this video, please watch this video right to the end, and then go watch this, go watch The Ancient Magus's Bride. And yes, I do imagine that you are still watching this video. It'd be kind of awkward talking into a television screen, effectively, for no one to hear this. The second title on this list from this season is Kino's Journey, The Beautiful World. This is another very beautifully done, like, just on the animation quality. It is beautiful. It may lack some of the watercolor feel of the original adaptation, but they have not taken the animation and the coloring style to excess. They have added everything in to a point where it builds on that philosophical story and doesn't necessarily detract from the story they're trying to tell. Yes, I know I'm going to cause all kinds of hate in the comments, but Madoka, I'm looking squarely at you. I'm going to say that for those of you who've watched the first one and you're not, for some reason, not watching this current adaptation, it is a different take on it, and it builds on it in very subtly different ways, and I think that you will enjoy this one. I do recommend giving this one a try and sharing this with your bookworm friends. They will probably love it. I know that my wife is one of the denizens of the books. I can hardly ever pull her away from a book for much of anything, and I can tell you she absolutely loves this show. Don't hesitate. This is a great conversation piece with the friends, loved ones, whatever. Just make certain they're of a slightly more mature audience so they can engage in the philosophical side of things. I'm just going to leave off on these two shows. They're both streaming on Crunchyroll. If that's available in your country, great, go ahead. Show them some love. They're doing some good work right now. The next two titles are something more of an acquired taste, I want to say. The first one is Girls Last Tour. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, I think, is the proper pronunciation, and I'm going completely off memory right now since I didn't actually write that down in either romanji or kanji before starting to record this. I want to say that this show's kind of got this like Azumanga Daioh-esque character to it, but thrust in a post-apocalyptic world. I mean, it really brings a greater emphasis to the things that we take for granted, and then just makes those small things just seem so special in the way they tell the story. I do recommend this show if you're in that mood for for a story that has a very strong message of hope in it. I also recommend this if you really love stories that do convey their message through stark contrast, as this has some very happy moments put against darker settings and happenings and happenstances that would otherwise seem very normal, but they're really anything but because of how they're presented. Now, this last one, and I'm going to preface this right now, is that I would only recommend this to a very specific type of person. So if you're looking for recommendations or not, please pay attention to the preface. The anime in question, right, that I'm speaking of right now is UQ Holder. And I only recommend this for people who are fans of the mangaka Ken Akamatsu. You might know him from AI Love You, Love Hina, or the Negima franchise. And I'm only recommending this because, and I hate to put it this way, but it hasn't yet turned the way of the second Negima adaptation attempt. Oh my god, that was terrible. Ugh. I don't even want to remember that one. It isn't a bad adaptation, but by no means would I say that this is a good adaptation. And this is primarily due to pacing rather than any significant perversions of the plot. They've just kind of watered it down by pacing it too quickly. At least in my opinion. I guess for if you're looking for a very quick and dirty advertising type anime, it doesn't do too bad of a job at that. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out that the season is still unfolding, and I am hesitantly optimistic they won't find a way to screw it up yet. But as a longtime fan of Ken Akamatsu's work and the anime adaptations that his works have seen, I am not going to go all out and say it won't happen. They've proved me wrong before. They'll try to prove me wrong again. I'm more than certain of that. Anyway, these last two shows, both UQ Holder and Girls Last Tour, are available on Amazon's Anime Strike channel. If you're already an Amazon Prime member, this service is worth taking a look at, and I do recommend considering it. There's a whole lot more on there than just their exclusives. Anyway, that is it for my going over the comments from the last episode. And at this point, I'm going to start shifting up to looking ahead for content on the channel. I am looking at bringing more content variety to the channel. This may or may not be due to things being available on Steam, being reduced in price during a special sale, or as a result of some combo deal on some upgrades I bought to help my storage situation. Yes, that is oddly specific, and there is one specific one I will go over after I list off some of the titles I am currently working on. The first of these is Lost Dimension. I haven't spooled it up just yet. I got it around the time when that whole roller coaster started going on. Same with the second one. Outwardly, it looks kind of Fire Emblem-ish. I'm not going to say that's what it is. I might prove to be very wrong. I'm not going to go dive out there and look at what other people are saying about it and what some of the stuff has to say about it. I'm just going to go in there completely first impression of the game and just kind of go with it. See how it looks. It looked good enough to give it a try. I mean, we'll see. The second title on this list is .hack GU, The Last Recode. Yes! 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 I honestly don't know how much content I can pull out of that game, but it's .hack. What's not to love? I've been a fan of the .hack franchise forever. I'm just so happy it's gotten a proper continuation somewhere in the franchise. And seriously, the fans of Sword Art Online, get bent. Welcome to the original. Next title, Assassin's Creed Origin. I think I wrote that wrong down in my notes. I think it's Assassin's Creed Origins. I think I forgot an S in there. There's a lot of S's in that first word. Anyway, I wasn't planning to grab that game so early, but I was sitting there looking at my computer one day, and literally I just said, I am running out of storage to keep all these massive video files and running out of drive space to actually manipulate Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, Lightroom, all that good stuff that I use to produce content for the various things that I work on. And I literally was like, okay, I need to get a new hard drive. I need a good high cache drive. I need space. Space. So I was sitting there looking at Newegg, particularly doing the whole... I think it was Black Friday that I sat down and ordered. I'd have to go back and look at my records to double check, but I guess it doesn't matter. I was sitting there looking up on Newegg and said, huh, there's a deal on a drive here that packages a game. Let's see what it is. Comes up and it says Assassin's Creed Origins. Okay, what drive is it in? Did they come up with? And I'm like, oh, this is the Seagate Barracuda drive. And there was a whole bunch of them, like the 2 through the 12 terabytes in increments of 2 terabytes. Okay. Tell me more. Oh, 256 megabytes cache? 7,200 RPM? Okay, that's pretty much where I was thinking I would want the drive to be anyway. Okay. Price. Oh, hey, it's $20 off regular thing. Oh, they're gonna give me a $60 game. Wait a minute, that's a good deal. Order. Now. Yes, please. So that's how I got that game. Also, you may see games like, DCS World pop up from time to time on the channel. I'm also looking at getting the Toho Tenkusho Hidden Star of the Four Seasons, which is now available on Steam in special videos or as background footage to this vlog series. I am super excited that Zune, aka Team Shanghai Alice, brought his Toho franchise to Steam. Yes! Danmaku, I need more. I haven't had a good dose in a while. So we'll have some fun with that sometime. Just note that I won't be able to show you the final bits of it per his publishing request. For those of you who are also have been following me on Facebook or Google+, again, the links are in the description down below. I have been playing around with this Chinese mobile game recently called Azur Lane. And I have been looking for ways to bring that gameplay to the channel because it is an absolutely adorable game. I love this game, and I've been thinking of trying to get the technical hurdle. Or it's not just one hurdle. There's a couple technical hurdles that I've been working out the logistics on over the past month and a half or so, trying to figure out how am I going to get stuff from phone to computer in a way that I can actually work with and is of reasonable quality that I can, put it up onto YouTube.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
And I am pretty certain I have got the recording part of that and some of the up and down shenanigans at this point. I'm going to just call it shenanigans. Logistics part of it worked out. The only sad thing about this is that my current device pretty much only puts it out in like 720p, which is making me sad. So, yeah. I might be looking to upgrade from my Samsung S5 platform at some point in the near future. Yeah, the things I'm going to do just to give you guys some content. Well, I mean, it's an S5. This thing has served me well. It's starting to show its age. And, the fact that 16 gigabytes internal storage is kind of not ideal for recording that kind of video content. And yes, I'm going to preemptively deal with this. Yes, it has an SD card on the inside, but it still needs to save to system storage before being moved to the SD card before I can actually have that space available. So, with most of my 16 gigabytes being taken up by, apps, I have a lot of apps. I don't know why I have a lot of apps, but I do. Most of them I actually do use, so it's kind of hard to just kind of uninstall them all. So, I've got like 2 gigabytes of working space, and in anything I have encoded for YouTube in that in the quality presets I can actually use and have it look good. That might be to like a couple minutes. So I need to work on that and make certain that situation's worked out before I really commit on getting that mobile gameplay aspect booted up. Anyway, I don't want to bore you guys too much longer with my mobile phone troubles. I hope this has been an interesting vlog segment for you all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.